This video it's about Sigmund Freud, so there's trigger warnings for everything on screen right here. Trigger warning for that. I've embodied the therapist's office for this video. You can hear my voice echo throughout the empty halls. Get ready to learn about Sigmund Freud.
Turn to my favorite subject.
Sigmund Freud was born under the name Sigmund Freud, but he changed it to sound less Jewish and Germanic due to fear of discrimination in Vienna. You know, this was World War II times, right? Everybody hated the Jews, everyone wanted to kill them, they wanted to hang them up, do bad things, awful things. From now on, I'm gonna refer to him as Freud, so I'm correcting their both names. Not to be confused with like the moon crater or the chimpanzee. You've heard the story of Freud the chimp, which I'm sure you have. He was conceived in a room his family rented in a locksmith's house in Freiburg, Moravia. He was born in Kahl, which means the mother water didn't break, and he was born in his amniotic sac. I'm gonna do a demonstration. I'm not gonna do a demonstration of that actually. I was thinking about it. I don't know how that happened. Maybe he was like holding it from the inside, like he was holding it. Anyways, his mother took this as a good omen. This is a great thing. This is a great thing. Everyone loves the amniotic sac. She called him my golden Siggy. That was his name. That's what his mom called her. He got his own special room and special lamp. He named the lamp Mein Golden Lamp. Is that true? Did I write that? I don't think that's true. I wrote that though. That's something I wrote. He used Mein Golden Lamp frequently because he had an enormous fear of the dark. You know, you can. Oh, it turns on the fan. You know, he didn't like this. His core fascination at first was to study law, but he changed to medicine because he found the human mind fascinating, which we can understand that. The human mind, we see it, we poke around in it, it gives you thoughts, gives you ideas. His first true research project, okay, this is the first story. He needed to find eel testicles. There's a bit of context you need. One of the biggest mysteries of the world back then, this was like the biggest thing that people were trying to figure out, is how eels, like EELS, reproduce. No one could find the eel, balls. What are we gonna do? We can't find the eel testicle. How do they reproduce? Is a mystery. Over 4 weeks. I don't know why he tried that many times. Didn't find them. So he didn't find them. He went on to marry Martha Burmese, and he had 6 kids. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That's a lot of kids. One of which being Anna Freud, who's like the only important one. All of the other ones are irrelevant. He also smoked 20 cigars a day.
Something bad for you.
And was obsessed with cocaine. You know, he wrote papers about cocaine. He prescribed it to patients as if it was a miracle drug. And obviously, you know, he did cocaine himself, so at least he's not a hypocrite. That'd be bad.
No. Flour.
Despite this, he somehow lived to 83, but died on September 23rd, 1939. Where he begged the doctor to overdose him on morphine to end the pain of the cancer he developed from smoking. And he was on his way out anyway. He knew he was on his way out. He just get it over with. Oh, I almost forgot this. One time Freud gave cocaine to one of his friends, and then his friend died and didn't care and moved on.
Yeah, no, that's the worst coke I've ever had.
No, dude. Dude, I'm so sorry.
He also collected a lot of weird little trinkets and artifacts, which is probably something you could pathologize, but I'm not going to, because, you know. Now we're getting to the big thing, his theories. He came up with a lot of these through his studies through the University of Vienna, but he also worked through many other groups that he headed. Here's one of his big theories. Stages of psychosexual growth. You split them into 5 parts. Each focuses on a body part that if fixated on too long would lead to a little bit of a quirk, and that's a big quote. A quirk when you're a grown up. So let's go.
Ow. Hey, no biting.
Stage 1, which is the oral stage, and you're focused on your mouth. That's why you suck your thumb, you put things in your mouth, and I quote, you suck lovingly on your mother's teeth.
I want mommy, I want milk.
It doesn't even say anything, I just said that, so. If you fixate on that sort of stuff, you're gonna be a nail biter, you're gonna be an overeater, or a smoker. Which, you know, that's interesting coming from Freud.
Start digging in your butt.
What?
Stage 2 is the anal stage. This is when you're ages 1 to 3. You're focused on your butthole and toilet training. This is where you train to be on the toilet. This one's weird because fixation on it, if you fixate on this, it can manifest in 2 different ways. There's anal retentiveness, which translates to obsessiveness and orderliness, and anal expulsiveness, which translates to messiness and rebelliousness.
Oh, the camera's on. The camera's been on the whole time, huh? I don't even know.
Stage 3, okay, this is where it gets a little, it's already odd, this gets odd here. Stage 3 is the phallic stage. This is from ages 3 to 6. And it's a big focus on your genitalia, you know, your penis, your vagina, even your testicles. He believes children in this age range frequently masturbated. By the way, again, this is from ages 3 to 6.
You want to explain to me what you're doing here?
Or at least some version of it, not one that... I'm trying to figure out how to word this. Not a version of masturbation that leads you to, orgasm. I'm just gonna say investigatory sort of masturbation. You know, it's all bullshit. I'm not gonna. This is all crap. Anyway, this is where the Oedipus and electric complex would develop. I'll also get to that later. Fixation here would translate to vanity, recklessness, or sexual dysfunction in adulthood. So, if you're, never mind.
Jerry was transported from the Rick and Morty universe into the real world.
Stage 4 is the latency stage. This is from ages 6 to puberty and is the only real non-sexual based time of your life. This is where you make friends and have hobbies, and that's pretty much it. There's no real fixation. So that's it for that one.
I got a boner.
Stage 5, there's the genital stage. This is from puberty until you die. This is again focused on your genitals, but in a more mature way. In a mature way, I mean, you know, you're focused on laying pipes, as they say. I'm not sure what that implies. I just heard that. Most people watching this, including me, are probably in this stage right now. So, you know, maybe you can identify with what he said. You're constantly thinking about laying. Alright, then there's the consciousness. This is a pretty good one. This is actually a good one. Puts it into 3 parts. There's the id, which is part of your subconscious, and that's a greedy little ape that takes what it wants. It just grabs, it bites. It's violent. It doesn't care about other people. It only cares about itself. It's violent and it has no shame. That's with you from when you're born. You're born with that. From ages until you're maybe 1 year old. That's all you have. You're only a little greedy imp that probably should be. I'm not gonna say anything rude because they're babies. You can't say anything bad about babies. And there's the super ego, the other part of your subconscious. It's like the self-hating, selfless dweeb. That's where all your guilt, all your shame comes from. Everybody's awesome except for me. I suck. I should die. I should go step in a bear trap for all I care. Alright. My iPhone ran out of storage in the middle of that, but now we're back. Don't worry. Then there's the front part. This is the conscious, not the subconscious. This is ego. The ego is like the perfect mix of the id and superego. It takes just the right amount of selfish parts and the right amount of selfless parts to make you a functioning person. This develops around the oral stage, I believe. I'm gonna say it. This might be controversial to say. I like this theory. I think it makes sense. Is it true? I don't know. Again, Freud bases his theory on just vibes mostly. There's no tests he really does. I like it. I think it's cool. I think it makes sense. On the contrary, we have the hinted at before Oedipus and electric complex. This is I'm gonna play a video in the corner here and I'll do my reaction to it while it does it. So watch this.
Sigmund Freud coined the concept of the Oedipus complex and named this after Oedipus Rex, a character in Sophocles' play who unknowingly killed his father and married his mother. He used the term in the psychosexual stages of development of a child. The theory is controversial, and it is that a child has sexual feelings towards a parent, although these are repressed and unconscious, and Freud believed that these had a role in a child's development. He believed that a child was attracted to the parent of the opposite sex and had jealousy for the parent of the same sex, and they were a rival for the attention of the parent of the opposite sex, so that a boy would feel that his father is a rival for the attention from his mother, and a girl would feel that her mother was a rival for attention from her father. The latter is known as the Electra complex and was termed that by Carl Jung, who was a previous student of Freud.
Okay. So I mean, that's odd, right? That's odd. I don't know what to say about that. I'd have to say I believe that is odd. But again, is it even true?
Dude, I just looked up the
Oedipus.
thing he was talking about. That's
False.
That's like 100%. Everything he said was
False.
It's all
False.
That whole thing's bullshit. There's no concrete evidence for that. You know, a part of me thinks that Freud was projecting his own insecurities in childhood onto the entirety of humanity. Actually, not a part of me, that's the entirety of me thinks that. You can tell his mother doted on him and his father was distant, at least in comparison. And I feel like you can see that applied here. I feel like Freud this is his own childhood that he's saying, okay, I experienced this on a personal level, that must mean everybody experiences this. That's not true, buddy. That's not true. It's this sort of stuff that makes me angry. Stuff like this, it makes me wonder why Freud continues to be on the Mount Rushmore of psychologists. He just lies, and then he gets the privilege of being up there. Again, that, as I demonstrated, that makes me angry. And the worst part is that despite the fact that this is all weird and it's all probably fake, this specific part, the Oedipus stuff, for some reason seems to be the one Freudian thing that persists most throughout modern culture.
A son is a poor substitute for a lover.
男に父親の姿を求めてたって。
Well, she's awful pretty. I know that, Mom.
You know when you're in bed with a woman, and then all of a sudden, your mom pops into your head.
You could go off and screw any whore on Ryland Street, but when it came to your own son, you were just too busy.
You can't keep getting away with it!
It's you can find it in anything. If you analyze any show, you could find a little Oedipus, maybe even if you want to reach far enough, you could find a little Electra, I'm sure. Maybe it'd only be 1 or 2 inches, but it'd still be there. Why is that? I have 3 reasons. 1, it's very dramatic in a way that it's bizarre, right? It's interesting because it's bizarre. Who came up with this? Freud did. We know who came up with it, but it's bizarre. And it can be applied to a lot of character archetypes along with that, so it can make characters more dramatic. Secondly, Freud's the father of psychoanalysis, and having something about your character that can be psychoanalyzed in that way is just kind of good character writing. Third.
Because it's fucking funny, Kyle! It's called having a sense of humor and laughing! You should fucking try it once in a while!
And with all these crazy theories bubbling around Freud's head, he came up with, this is his big thing, You know how I said that Oedipus and Electra were the biggest part of modern culture? That was a lie. It was actually the biggest part. Psychoanalysis, the concept of psychoanalysis. Or you probably know as couch therapy. You know, you probably have it. You probably have couch therapy. Everyone should have couch therapy. That's my personal belief. Everyone should see a therapist, and if you don't, I would consider you a coward if you don't see a therapist. So the idea was they'd let you sit down with the patient and you just tell them whatever comes to mind. You know, they'd ramble. You'd listen to their speech patterns. You'd have to hyperfixate on stuff that they avoided.
Your problem is quite clear.
According to him, patients would also end up projecting their attractions or feelings for their lovers or parents onto Freud, and he could also use that, so that's something about him too. And with all this, be able to analyze and relieve any neuroses, by the way. This is applicable towards everything according to Freud. This is life shattering. With Freud though, it didn't really work because he turned everything into sex like he does because he's a pervert. He's a crazy sex pervert with glasses. Phone just started ringing. Now finally for his medical stuff, we have his dream theories.
No, I don't want to know. I don't want to know.
This is where it gets bonkers bananas even. For it, he was three parts again. One was the manifest content of the dream, which is what the person remembered as happening. Second part was latent content, which is the hidden meaning of the dreams, you know? That's where you analyze little symbols. And then there's the dream work, which was the process of disguising latent wishes through condensation, which is combining many things into one, displacement, which were intense thoughts being shifting onto something less intense, and symbolism, which was using symbols. Obviously, you didn't need me to tell you that. I'm not patronizing you. So Freud believed that anything long and thin, say an umbrella, a snake, perhaps a knife, those were all penises. Maybe you wanted the penis, you were looking to collect it in your basket, or maybe you were looking to avoid the penis. The penis was scary to you. It was a creature of disgust, you know. And rooms and boxes were vaginas. So if you were, I guess, in a room, you were in a womb. That actually, you know, there could be a pun there, room and womb. I'm gonna go through some examples now. I promise I'm not playing any of this stuff up. This is real. In the 80s, 1880s, I should clarify. You heard about Anna O. She was treated by Breuer, which was Freud's mentor. She suffered from hysteria, paralysis, and she couldn't speak in her native language. Breuer, he discovered that Anna talking about her feelings seemed to ease her symptoms. So that's interesting, you know. Maybe we could turn that into something useful, like maybe couch therapy, you know, who knows, you know, maybe that's something that will happen. Freud took that fact as concrete proof that all hysteria came from repressed trauma, every single one, which I'm sure some of it is, but he said all of it. That's the big issue with Freud, it's all or nothing. It's everyone wants to have sex with their moms. I'm sure some people out there do, but I don't. I'm sure you probably don't want to either, so I don't, you know, that's the issue, it's all or nothing for him. Anyway, Anna also became sexually attracted to Breuer, which made Breuer uncomfortable. But to Freud, it was
very interesting.
This obsession began to split between Breuer and Freud and led to Breuer distancing himself from Freud. You'll see that's an ongoing trend that Freud is a bit of anyone who gets close to Freud realizes that he's a freak and leaves him, and Freud ends up alone. And in 1900, he had a patient named Dora. That wasn't her real name, they called her Dora though. She was assaulted by her father's friend. Freud said her hysteria came from repressing a sexual attraction she felt towards her father's friend. Therapist isn't spelled like that for nothing, I guess. Obviously, Dora ended up quitting therapy, very angrily, may I add. Freud stood by his conjecture, though. He said, I'm Sigmund Freud. I'm never going to be wrong. I am my golden boy. In 1907, he had a patient named the Rat Man, full name the Ratatouille Man, who had obsessions and fear over the ideas of rats burrowing into his father and fiance. You know, like the ancient torture method where they'd put a bucket on your tummy, and then they'd let the rats burrow into it. This is what they do. I remember it now. So obviously Freud was sure that must mean he has sexual guilt and repressed hostility towards his father. That was what that meant. That's his fear of rats. That's what it comes from. Again, repressed sexual guilt and hate towards his father. I don't know if you can tell, but there's a theme. There's a theme going on with a lot of Freud's interpretations of things. There's a theme. I hope that's not crazy to say. I'm not gonna say what it is. I'm not calling you dumb. I'm sure you can figure it out. You're a smart kid, smart guy, girl, them, anywhere in between. In 1918, he had a patient named the Wolfman, full name the Wolfman, who was a Russian aristocrat who dreamed about white wolves sitting in trees. And this one, when I heard about this actually shook me to my core. I was shaking. I started crying. Mucus was pouring out of every hole in my body. That's how scared I was. Because I've had a dream like that before. I swear to God, this is not a bit, okay? This is not a bit. I've had a dream about wolves sitting in trees. That's something I've dreamed of before. And Freud said this obviously meant that the Wolfman walked in on his parents having sex when he was younger. So, I don't know what that says about me or the Wolfman, but it's not something I want to talk about because apparently talking about it ruined the Wolfman's life. So, I don't know. Yeah, let's... Okay, in 1909, he had a patient named Lil Hans who was scared of horses. This one's not a dream even. This kid was just scared of horses in real life. I'm sure he would be scared of a horse in his dream too, but also in real life. It's not dream specific. Of course, the horse represented his father, so he's scared of his father, and the boy had a developing Oedipus complex. That's what that meant, according to Freud. There's many other stories that could be talked about, and they could fill hours of videos and books, and they have, but I don't want to be here all day, so I'm moving on. Freud had a lot of relationships with other scientists throughout his life, and pretty much all of them ended up in flames because you can probably tell by now, Freud was not, he's odd, okay? Wilhelm Flies ended up being one of Freud's closest confidants. They were so close, in fact, that there are literally books filled with just letters they sent to each other. Letters that I'm gonna add this that were vaguely romantic. Take that for what you will. Fly's thing, he believed that the nose was directly related to the genitals and hysteria. That's what it was related to. If stuff that has to do with your penis or the JJ even, that's from your nostrils or your nose, that area, that general area, your nose. So I don't know what, I'm not sure. Flies isn't my guy to study, so I'm not exactly sure why he thought that, but if he's anything like Freud, it's just because he thought about it in the shower one day and thought that's funny, so he went with it. One of Freud's patients, this is a crazy story, Emma Eckstein, he recommended her to Flies for that nose genital surgery thing that Flies is always doing. And Flies...
There's a missing point!
Just screwed up her face, like, irreversibly. He left some, like, gauze pad or something in it and it got infected. She literally almost died. She almost died. She got permanently disfigured for life.
Oh my god!
I don't, you know... it's for nothing. It's for nothing. Because this is the nose surgery was for something apparently because it's supposed to fix your penis or hysteria or whatever. That's not true. That's not how that works. Okay, my phone ran out of storage again. My point still stands. This was a complete waste of time. It was a complete utter failure of competence. Everyone involved in this story should die. Even the person that got their face screwed. That's not nice.
I was just kidding! Come on! You guys know I was just kidding, right?
Freud was horrified by this fact, obviously, and he tried to normalize it. He said, here, wait, I have it here. This is what he did. He called hemorrhages that Eckstein later had as, quote, wish bleedings, like like wish upon a star bleedings. Wish bleedings that were related to her hysteria. Okay, buddy. Yeah, okay, buddy. Wish bleedings. Get out of here. Get out of town. And he was so down bad for Flies that he reworked some of his theories to fit within Flies' framework. Again, just lying for the fun of it. We still learn about this guy. Whatever, I don't care. Flies began getting pissed off at Freud for allegedly plagiarizing some of his work. Which again, as I just said, he kind of did. And he sent Freud a real nasty correspondence letter, but Freud was like, I don't want this. I don't want to see this letter. I don't want this getting out. He tried to delete it.
No, click now.
But that was another failure. Public, messy breakup. A lot of mudslinging. And it's another one of Freud's most important relationships was with Carl Jung. He studied under Freud and could be described as somewhat of an apprentice, you may say. It's worth noting that they met when Freud was 50 and Jung was 32. They talked a lot, they got very close. Their first meeting was over 13 hours. They just talked to each other for 13 hours. I can't talk for 13 hours. I can't even talk for like 5 minutes straight. Similarly to Flies, they exchanged a lot of letters that range from parental to erotic, which that spectrum is on brand for Freud, I guess. Unfortunately for Freud, Jung wised up and realized, you know, maybe seeing everything as sex that's not an accurate worldview. Maybe I should be more humanistic rather than pedophilistic. Obviously, this departure caused Freud to crash out, and Freud ended all communication with him. After their interaction, Freud apparently fainted at a train station, which is really funny. Some people, like those on AO3, have even hypothesized that Jung and Freud may have been in a homosexual relationship. Do they cite any sources for this claim? No, besides just vibes. But given how much he talks about Jung penis, I find it plausible. Okay, I'm recording this after because I discovered something. That it is soul shattering. Within those letters, there's some peculiar quotes. You know, an undeniable sense of homoeroticism began to emerge. And those aren't my words, those are Jung's, okay? Listen to this. Jung claims that his veneration for Freud as something of the character of a religious crush. Though it does not really bother him, he still feels it is disgusting and ridiculous because of its undeniable erotic undertones. Freud also used the term homosexual to describe his relationship with Wilhelm Flies, if that wasn't already too on the nose. Jung, however, he seemed to be avoidant of this fact and believed his attraction towards Freud originated towards something not just homosexual, but something traumatic, right? Because Jung was raped by a man he looked up to when he was a child. And that's horrible, obviously. And he believes that since he looks up to Freud in a similar way, that's where his sexual feelings are coming from. Seemingly also seemed to be part of the fracture in their relationship with each other. It wasn't just intellectual differences. It seems this sort of thing influenced it too, you know? Their breakup may have been more of a breakup than just a breakup, you know? Us in showbiz, we call that doom the alley. So yeah, I mean, I was joking before, but they are actually, like, they are gay for each other. Like, not a theory, it's not a question, just straight up. Gay up, even. So, I mean, okay. Speaking of that, Freud was pretty progressive with his views on gay people for the time. By the way, he still made it weird. Obviously, that's his thing. He makes it weird. That's his whole thing. He thought everyone started out as bisexual.
I'll kiss every guy, man and woman.
Or leaning in heavily on one sex. And some people just happen to lean in on the same sex. Point of view, this was heavily inspired by Flies. Actually, not even, again, he plagiarized. Flies was right, he did plagiarize him. And he also believed that masturbation was a sort of homosexual act. Basically, if you have ever masturbated in your life, you're gay. I have reasons to believe this is false, but I could be mistaken. You know, it's Freud's the big guy. He's the big psychologist. Why would I doubt him? So... yeah. But what's his lasting legacy nowadays? I mean, aside from being referenced in a lot of shows, as I talked about before, what's his perception in the public zeitgeist? First, I'm just gonna get out of the way what like I guess the internet has done to Sigmund Freud. Obviously, Sigmund Freud, a lot of his ideas were ridiculous, so they're prime fodder to make fun of and make ridiculous things of. As stated before. People on AO3 did make fan fiction of him. Here, I'll actually pull one up right now, and I'll read an excerpt out. All right, here, this is awesome. I'll read this out to you. What's her name, sexy? Jung asked. Sigmund Freud, I answered, but you can call me Freud. I put my arms around his waist and pulled him closer. I leaned down and whispered, "What's yours?" Carl Jung, he replied with a shiver. I smirked. This should be fun, I thought. That's his thought. That's in italics, so I knew he was thinking it. I felt him... You know what else I found? There's also My Little Pony original character Sigmund Freud. My Little Pony. It's cool. There's whole worlds out there. There's whole worlds on the internet, especially that you don't know exist. There's a Sigmund Freud My Little Pony. Who made that? I don't know. Unfortunately for Freud, it seems like the world outside of the My Little Pony fandom hates him. Like they hate his guts. Peep this.
Oral, anal, phallic, latency, and genital. That's gross. That's weird, dude. This guy was probably touching little girls.
I hate you for a bitch. I hate you for a shit. Yeah, it's bullshit.
Right, Sigmund Freud pisses me off, like a lot. Like, oh.
Is about why women tend to weave or knit as a hobby or profession. According to Freud, back in the ancient days, women invented weaving in order to braid their pubes and make it less noticeable that they didn't have a penis.
This guy was probably touching little girls.
Okay, this is Sigmund on Roblox. Oh, so this is the modern person's view, right? This is the modern person's view of Sigmund Freud. This is how the modern man. This is the modern perception of Sigmund Freud. Sigmund's cute pet, I guess. There's this. If I go the bridge. Okay, I don't know what hit me there. Alright, this is Raise a Sigmund. There's nothing to do with Sigmund Freud here. This is, you take, there's nothing. Why is this face supposed to this was in the other game too. Why is this face Sigmund Freud? Okay, buddy, okay. Get her. Jump. Ooh, jump. What am I hitting? Can I do the ball launcher with... Did Sigmund just shit on the ground? Oh, it's attacking... It's attacking his father, bro. That's the Oedipus complex. That's the Oedipus complex. That's the Oedipus complex. This has to do something with it. Freud's psychomatic clinic. That's right on the money. The apple. We're already off to a better start than the other game because this is, you know, things are capitalized. Okay, I'm hearing gunshots. There's no one else playing this game. This is just me. What does this have to do with Freud, bro? Why am I in a forest? How do I get across? Do I need to cross the log, perhaps? What am I doing? What are we doing here? Where do I go? Why is there gunshot? Where am I heading to? I don't am I following the right path? Why is there knocking? Why do I have to walk so far just to get into the meat of this game? Who designs a game like this? It's crazy that I'm walking all this way and I don't even know if this is the right direction. What does this have to do with Sigmund Freud? Dude, I think people just slap Sigmund Freud's name on stuff and don't know who he is. I don't know what else there is to do in this game. Led me all this way. There's nothing. I'm here on bus 78 with my friend Tyler, and I'm here to ask some questions about Sigmund Freud. One, do you know who Sigmund Freud is?
No, I've never heard of him.
Second, what's a recent dream you had? Or any dream that you've had ever? Any memorable dream?
I vividly remember, like, believing for a while that I could fly. I think I was, like, mostly, like, a city-like space, and then it kind of just went, like, open land.
So there was, like, skyscrapers?
Yeah, I'd say.
Okay, so the skyscrapers, if I had to analyze this, the skyscrapers were likely penises, and flying was probably a representation of you avoiding them, because that's your sexual belief. You want to avoid the penis.
Yeah.
Is that accurate?
That's accurate.
Okay. Let's go.
All right.
All right. I'm playing. What is that? Okay, I'm playing a therapy game so I can, because I don't know what else. This is the therapy game. What's up? Oh. Okay. What is that? Is that the device they just put down? What the? Why is there bombs in this game? This is a therapy game.
Dean's dead.
Dean Blunt. What?
Hi. Hi.
Hi. Dude.
Yo. What's up, brother? 6'7". 6'7".
6'7".
6'7".
Have you had any dreams recently?
Yeah, I had a wet dream yesterday.
Don't move!
It's
Stop blowing up my
self-defense.
patience.
She's Jewish.
What? You know who else was Jewish? Sigmund Freud. And Sigmund
Albert
Freud's
Einstein.
like the goat of therapy. So you know what? Don't say
Yeah,
that.
but he's...
What is going on, bro?
Isn't he the guy who wrote a thing about wanted to kiss his mom or something?
Okay, well, well, kind
yes,
of.
he did. Yeah. He wants to bang his mom, and you're calling him an okay guy. That right?
No, wait, you've got it all wrong, okay? You've got it all.
No.
Damn it.
You're weird, bro.
No.
Bro wants to bang his mom.
No, that's not what's happening here at all.
You wanna bang your mom?
That's not what I
Oh
said
my
at
God,
all.
they allowed
No.
my
That's right. You know what? I think that one was a good experience because at least they had a recollection. They knew something about Sigmund Freud, and I think that adds on to the thought process that the modern era, the modern generation, the only thing they know about Sigmund Freud is that he talked about incest and incest adjacent things. That he's weird. That's all the modern generation knows about him, and they don't know about all the good things he's done, like giving that baby that flower. They don't know about that. So I think that shows. That's so weird that my character's mouth moves when I talk. That's so disturbing. Anyways, there's I think that shows, people don't like Sigmund Freud anymore. His time is up. His era is up. Nobody likes him. It's over. He's dead, so he doesn't care, but the Freud era is over for the modern generation. So, Freud and this video, we had our ups, we had our downs, we had our fidget spinners, we even had our notebooks of notes. But through this all, I think we learned something today.
Freud's theories.